Hey folks, Sheska here. We're in Genshin Impact today, and we are doing Spyro Abyss because the Inazuma version of Abyss came out today. And I actually did the whole thing live on stream earlier, but I realized after the fact, because man, some of the like floor 12 was a little bit of a struggle in some places, and I realized Mona at the time was wearing all level 0 artifacts because I was messing around for gear. I completely wasn't paying attention, and yeah, apparently I did it with Mona being essentially naked. So I am just gonna redo the whole thing because like it was a bit of a shit show in the later floors, which I think is in part due to the fact that Mona had no gear on. So yeah, let's just jump into it real fast. But yeah, we didn't get full stars yet, and I'm gonna blame Mona not having gear on for that, honestly. So jokes on me if it doesn't clean up this time around, but I'm expecting this will go much smoother. But we'll just bang out all these real fast. Floors 9 through 11, with possibly the exception of the stupid Pyro Cube, should be super quick, so not too worried there. Um, really, these are essentially, I think, all the same enemies that have been here if you've been doing Genshin lately. Except for when you get to floor 11, fucking Pyro Cube is here. This thing is a pain in the ass. Like all the other hypostasises, the cubes are just complete jokes. But this one, like you walk up to it, it's like, oh, you're approaching me? Yeah, like that's what goes on with that one. That guy is so much harder than all the other ones. And then floor 12 is a real shit show. Like these samurai are super tanky, so I need to figure out a solution to them. Having a Mona that's not completely ungeared will help. And then like the second half, the Mirror Maiden's kind of annoying to kill. I cleared this one fine, but it took a few tries to figure out how to fight Magu Kenkeki. Because this guy is also a real piece of shit that will one-shot your characters if you are not very careful. And then floor 3, like, I was getting so annoyed, I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm just gonna finish this and end the stream. This one I probably could have easily gotten, well, easily, we'll see. Could have 3-starred. I just didn't at the time because I was getting so annoyed with it. So yeah, let's just run back through. Floors 9 through 11 should be pretty quick. All right, let's look at these floors and put together some teams real quick. So floor 9, we should be able to just brute force through, but we'll take a look. So front half has Cryo and Hydro, and I guess Electro and Pyro in the back half. Front half here clearly has Cryo, Hydro, and then back half is a bunch of random stuff. Front half here is Cryo, back half is Pyro. So our team will be front half Pyro, back half Cryo. So Luck will lead the front team and take... where are you? Bennett. My Bennett and... I do not know how to say this character's name. I'm sorry. The book... the book... the sword book person... The sword book kid are not leveled up. I'm working on them. But they should still be able to contribute just fine. So yes. Yeah, take you actually, because Bennett can be my healer. This seems to be a little bit under level, but it should be fine. And then Zhongli. Then back half will be Ayaka, Diona, Muna, Mona. I've been wanting, like, there's that VTuber Muna, which is probably why I wanted to say Muna there, but that's not the VTuber. Okay, so this should go pretty quick. Oh, these guys are Hydro, that's awkward. So, if you watch me play previously, you know I haven't leveled a bunch of the 4-stars. Because, honestly, I didn't really want to invest in them at the time. And, frankly, someone asked about this on stream, actually. They were talking about how people used to say Bennett was, like, really bad at launch. Like, it's kind of funny, because Bennett, I think a lot of people clearly identify as, like, double S tier now, just, like, a very useful character overall. And the point I made there, and I'll make it here in case you can see it, is the problem with Bennett at launch was not anything wrong with Bennett, it's that people weren't quite sure how to play the game yet. And what I mean by that is, Bennett, people were like, oh no, Bennett's really bad as a main DPS because he knocks himself back and his kit's really clunky and like not super good. The thing is, Bennett the main use for him is that he heals, that he is a huge attack buff to your team, and that's pretty much it. And in that, he is quite good. And so, like, that's a revelation that happened later. And I think once people start understanding how you actually play the game and the role that support characters play, they start valuing characters in a better light. Because characters like Bennett, who are very good in, like, kind of a bursty support role, very much became meta. And characters that people, like, really liked before, when they start understanding the nature of, like, swapping team members and, like, that each team member tends to have a role they play. I have no idea what that achievement was. They start falling off. And I think the example of a character that fell off in that way is actually Chi-Chi. Which saddens me, because I was C5 Chi-Chi. But Chi-Chi is a character that's kind of had the opposite trajectory, where people thought she was, like, you know, super S tier, really powerful when the game came out. And since then, she's probably the worst of the 5 stars in the non-limited pool at the moment. And like I said, I have a C5 Chi-Chi, so it saddens me to say that. Anyways, that's Chamber 1. And yeah, these first floors just be chats with Jessica. Take the Elemental Burst, I guess. I usually take the cards that last the whole floor, not just the chamber. Yeah, it's just, like, it's interesting to see how the meta shifted as people better understand how you actually play the game. But, Chi-Chi, like, at launch, people are like, oh, she's such a powerful healer, and she can, like, you know, apply cryo with her little skill and doesn't have to be on the field, which is still true. But, like, her main thing is that she's a healer, and the cryo thing she applies is just not that impactful, to be honest, compared to all the other characters that can apply cryo. And because of that, she's really fallen off, because honestly, this game, at this current point in time, is very much like trending the way that Arknights does, or has, and still is, I would say, where, like, healers are of limited use, like pure healers are of fairly limited use, and usually you want characters that heal just enough. You want, like, the Sarias, that, I think that's her name, that can heal a little bit, but mainly do something else. You don't want a character that mostly heals and then does a little something else. You want a character that mostly does something else and kind of heals. So, like, that, I think, is, like, the dichotomy between Chi-Chi and Bennett, exactly. Like, Bennett heals a little bit, but mostly is the attack buff and that kind of stuff. Chi-Chi mostly heals, and then kinda, sorta can apply element. And that's kind of, like, that's kind of where, like, those two have this weird, like, reverse delta, I guess, you could call it. Again, it does sadden me, but, I mean, it's just, the game is maturing. And, you know, honestly, not to talk about Chi-Chi too much, but, you know, talking about it, this example is also super relevant since I've got her right here. Honestly, Diona, I think it's one of the reasons why Chi-Chi's fallen off a lot. Like, Diona on her own is not super amazing. She's not that good a healer, actually. Like, she actually, it annoys me that her heal doesn't do more. But she shields, she gets an elemental mastery buff, like, her shield is actually decent, comes up pretty fast, she can build energy for the team really fast with her E, which Chi-Chi cannot. And that makes her everything that Chi-Chi is, because she's still filling that healer role, but she's much more, like, supportive than Chi-Chi is, because all Chi-Chi does is heal. Diana's worse at healing, but does stuff like shielding and buffing the team in general a lot better. So yeah. And yes, I have a C5 Chi-Chi, so trust me, I want her to be amazing, but she's just not very good right now. This is the final floor, or chamber, so I could take something that only lasts this floor, but... or this chamber, but, you know, that attack's hard. You know, to talk about the early days, back in the early days, so cool for saying this. Back in the early days, people would say shit like, oh, DPS Chi-Chi, it's like, why? Or I remember someone used to be like, oh, DPS Chi is super good because she heals. I'm like, what does healing have to do with DPS? Like, I remember someone making an argument that, like, oh, Jeans is as amazing as DPS because she can sustain herself and just heal herself with her regular attacks, which she can do. but she's not very damaging, which is what you want for DPS, not tankiness, because honestly you don't need it if the thing is dead. Not that much stuff dangerous enough to even really warrant a particular tanky character. So yeah, it's been an interesting shift. There we go. Like I said, chambers for floor 9's not gonna be that big a deal. Actually, we're just gonna dunk this floor, I think. Can I gather these together? Only 2 of you? Okay, fine. Yeah, welcome to die. Who else? Oh. Oh, you're approaching me. Wait, where'd they go? Oh, they went invisible. You can't hide that easily. Anyway, so that's floor 9 clear. Let's do floor 10. Always pays to hop out and check what the upcoming floor is to make sure your teams are correct. There's Pyro and Hydro on this floor, but honestly, or Pyro and Cryo on this floor, but honestly, we can probably just brute force it. This front half is very Cryo, back half is Pyro. Lector. Oh man, I fucking hate Lectors and Heralds. They're so annoying. Okay, so I think we do want to go Pyro front half again. Pyro front half, Cryo back half. We'll go with that. Yeah, we'll do that. Same team, I guess. No reason to change anything up right now. Who's the last member here? Oh, it's Ugly, right. For some reason, I can never find the characters when I'm looking for them initially. It only takes me a second. It's like, wait, where are you? Mona, Venti. There you go. We're on the same team. I might have to switch things up on floor 11 because things do get a little bit harder there. Elemental burst damage up, sure. Low. Actually, I need to push these guys together. I'm really sad I missed Kazuya. Like, Venti is totally, like, just as good as Kazuya, but the issue is I need a second Animo that can gather. And Kazuya is very good at gathering, just like Venti is. So, like, I want access to 2 Animo characters like that. But I missed this banner, and it's probably not going to be back for, like, 5 months. So, you know, I'll make do. Yes, I could level Sucrose, but I kind of don't want to level Sucrose because I will just replace Sucrose when I get Kazuha. So it's like, it'd be very much a stopgap investment. So, yeah. Don't think I'm going to do that. I'll think about it. I also missed the Zhongli rerun, which, yeah, I mean, I might have gone for more Constellation on him, to be honest. When Zhongli came out, I mentioned this in previous videos, he was he was bad. Very bad. But then he got buffed, pretty significantly. And now, like, much like I was saying earlier, he's a character that, like, just perfectly slots into teams, right? He does, like, his kit isn't overly defensive. Like, he adds a shield, which is very powerful, but he can put the shield down and then swap out. And then also shred elemental resist, which is nice. And then whenever he gets, like, burst, he can just jump in, drop his drop a fucking meteor on somebody, and then petrify them, and then leave. Like, he doesn't overstay his welcome, which I think is, like, kind of like what you want in a good character right now. We fucking demolish this floor. There you go, chamber 1. So yeah, Zhongli, like, he's only on the field for, like, drop a shield, drop a meteor, out. And that's kind of what you want from a character like that. And he's so good at that he's double S tier by most people's estimation. Now, if I wanted to get Constellations, oh man, Constellation 6 arm's kind of nice because it does make a shield kind of also a mini heal, which He's already doing all that stuff, so it just makes that better. But, like, man, Constellation 0 to 6, just for that, that's a hard sell. But luckily, I don't, well, air quotes, luckily I don't have to worry about it since I missed the banner, so. It's a long time for banners to come back, I gotta say. I'm used to Brand Blue. A lot of folks here follow me for Brand Blue stuff. I'm used to Brand Blue where, like, if you miss a character, unless they're, like, a seasonal limited, they'll be back at that next month, because the limited banners are monthly. Unless they're seasonal, in which case, then, yes, then you're waiting quite a while. Man, we dunk this whole chamber, this whole floor, rather. Alright, what's this? Chamber 2. Don't remember. Fatui. You wouldn't think that, like, Mona not having equipment would make that much difference, or maybe you would think that, actually. But, yeah, turns out that makes a huge difference. There you go. Omayawa Moshunduru. Nothing personal, kid. Alright, Chamber 3. I mean, none of these are particular... energy recharge, I guess. Oh, these motherfuckers. Alright, well, I got a chance to complain about this at least. I hate heralds. Actually, I hate a lot of their new boss mechanics. They have been doing a lot of bosses lately, including these guys, where you cannot skip their phases. And, like, it's just super aggravating, because, like, even when I stun this guy, even when I stone this guy, he's completely immune to damage right now. So there's not really anything you can do about it, which is super fucking obnoxious. Because it's like, but why? It's just so annoying. Like, no matter how well you play, you hit this phase and everything slows down because you got shipped down the stupid shield. I guess it's like they did this because like whales or like very endgame players would just completely like dunk these bosses, like I have been doing, to be fair. But man, so obnoxious, so obnoxious. Because like I think I would have been dead like 40 seconds ago, right? Otherwise. I think it wouldn't annoy me so much if you could get through it by being clever. Like, if you could do something like, petrify him and then dunk him. Because then it's like, okay, I'm working for it, right? I'm putting a whole bunch of stuff together to make this happen. Buddy. 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 You're so annoying, stupid. Lecter. Lecter, right? Yeah, this is a Lecter. Luckily, Ayaka's attack takes a whole shit ton of time, so, you know... Because remember, shields break based on, like, number of reactions and type of reaction, not the damage of the thing that triggered them. Excuse me. Fucking rude. There you go. There we go, that's floor 10. Now, floor 11. Okay, so floor 11, isn't there a thing here? Is it just Pyro and Cryo bonus? Oh, it's a previous floor that has the weird leader thing. So yeah, the previous floor, there's a leader and there's attendants. If the attendants stay up, it buffs the leader, so you gotta kill the attendants, and the attendants also heal the leader. I'll be honest, I didn't mention it at the time because I forgot that was a mechanic, and I also honestly do not know how to tell which ones are the attendants and which ones are the leader. So, guess we won't worry about that one. So, I'm gonna switch Mona and Tartaglia because I want Tartaglia on the back half to fight the pyrostasis. The pyro cube. That thing is super obnoxious. Who else? Tartaglia and then Venti. I was feeling really saucy. I guess I could go Ganyu instead of Diona, but then I would have literally no healer, and like I do want a little bit of healing. Not a ton, but I want enough. Okay, can these slimes get over here, please? Shield up. Have a giant rock. I made it just for you. That thing does some pretty hefty damage considering how fast it cools down, and that it petrifies everybody. Like, Zhongli is just so perfect for the role that he needs to fill, and like, he does. It's out so fast. He doesn't do a ton of stuff, right? He just puts a shield down, and he drops a giant nuke. But the shield is so strong that you kind of don't even really necessarily need a healer a lot of times. And the giant nuke cools down so fast and petrifies and does enough damage that, like, he is always good value for the team. Which is why he's a double S tier character. Like, he does exactly what you need him to do and not no more, right? He's exactly as defensive as you need him to be, but no more. And that's kind of what you want to be right now, to be a double S tier character, to be a really good character in the meta. Because if you are more defensive than you need to be, then you might as well, like, there's a good argument you can make to run a character that that will help you clear the content faster instead of running a defensive character. But Zhongli and Bennett are supporty enough that, like, they don't really demand much upkeep. You just swap in, drop their stuff, and then swap someone else to DPS stuff down. That's kind of how you play the game. And again, to be clear, Zhongli wasn't always like that. Zhongli at least was really bad. Like, he was much more purely defensive at release. Like, he got significant buffs, and that's why his position changed. Bennett, like, I think he got better because people learned how to play the game better. Zhongli just got better because he got buffed. So not good. What's on this floor? Just you two? Okay. Get over here, would ya? Ow. I forgot I don't have Mona. I tried to drop Mona's decoy, and it's like, why is the decoy not dropping? Because there isn't a decoy. That's good. Well, I wasn't expecting to kill that thing so fast. So I guess we'll sit here and rebuild all our stacks of stuff. Like, give me, fine, I'll just kill you. I didn't want to rebuild her burst before we hit the next floor, but we're gonna hit the next floor. Chamber. Always mix floors and chambers up. What is this? Okay, so we want to end this one cleanly because we want to set up for the cubes. On this team, do not so much because, like, the Pyro Cube's not that difficult. Pyro Cube. I mean, Pyro Cube. Like, you'll see, it's such a badass compared to the other cubes. And Zhongli's, like, meteor even petrifies them through their shield, which is particularly impressive. Yeah, I'm a little bit sad I wasn't around for the rerun on him, but at the same time, I kind of don't want to go Constellation 6ing him, and I know me. That's a weird sense. I probably will inevitably end up doing exactly that, so, like, maybe it's for the best. Excuse me, is there a thing you do that kills my skill cooldowns? What is going on here? I think this guy does mess with my skill cooldowns. Oh god. Go left, get healed. No, stay on the healing, stay on the healing, stay on the healing. You bet it, not a dedicated healer? That was exactly enough healing. To make up for the fact that I almost killed the left there by being an idiot. Is it that black shit that fucked up my healing? Is that what's going on here? Or my skill cooldowns? Here, I'm gonna just take my time here so I can set up properly. There you go, get out of here. There, we're set up for the next floor. This is the one I actually do need to worry What is this one? Is this another one? Yeah, it's one of you assholes. Here, have one of those. Welcome to die. Just want to break that as soon as possible. And then he's gonna go immune because he's a jerk. We'll say, as much as I've kind of down-talked GP a bit, man, Diona's healing could stand to be a little bit stronger. Like, her healing's serviceable, but it's just on the edge of serviceable. Like, if it did any less than it currently does, it'd be super obnoxious. I'm not gonna be able to set the next floor, because this guy actually brings elemental skills, if I remember correctly. Elemental... energy, that stuff. Alright, it's time for cubes. Oh man, I'm not looking forward to the cubes. Seriously, they're a huge pain in the ass. We'll go with elemental skill damage, I guess. This front cube, not gonna be an issue. It's the back cube that's gonna be an issue. And this front cube's gonna die pretty quick. Was that? Yeah, it was. Okay. Okay, throw your stupid shit at me. That'd run faster. Okay, one more. Another one. Now we got build up stamina. There. Let's fuck that up because of stamina. There you go. Front cube done. This one's the real pain in the ass, though. This one's annoying because it's endemic with all the shit I hate about how they're handling bosses now, in that it's essentially immune a lot of the time. So apply Tartaglia's fucking Hydro Dot. I think it's just supremely obnoxious. Oh my god. Okay, so it's finally vulnerable, right? But like, is it? Because I can't hurt it yet. Now I can hurt it. Now I can hurt it. But like, it's not vulnerable for very long. Like, now it's invulnerable. And it's like, okay, fuck me, I guess. Oh, fuck. Yeah, fuck me, I guess. I completely forgot to break these things. I hate this stupid cube. Like, when exactly can I hurt you? Now? Okay. Have one of those. Yeah, it's gonna fucking reignite at this rate. It's gonna reignite. It's gonna fucking reignite. Please don't reignite. Please don't reignite. Please don't reignite. Please don't reignite. Oh god, you're gonna reignite. Oh my god. Oh, okay, we killed it before it reignites. If it can reignite, runs over. Yes. That will definitely make us go over time. So yeah, that's the Pyro Cube. Really? I hate floor 12. This floor is aggravating for so many reasons. This first floor, these guys are unreasonably tanky. Like, I do not know why these guys are as tanky as they are. I was wondering legitimately for a while if I was like missing mechanic as to why these guys are so fucking hard to kill. No, they're just tanky. They've just got all the defense. I think like partly it's because they look like generic enemies, and they are generic enemies, but like they scale in such a way that like they feel like they're way tankier than they should be. But these two that are kind of tricky, because they have a weird mechanic. It's not a weird mechanic, it's fairly standard if I'm honest, for like an MMO, where you have to kill them kind of at the same time. Because if you kill them not at the same time, they have essentially an rage and then a self-heal. And that's nothing you want to have to deal with. That's right, the defense shred is helpful. So the way I've been trying to handle it is I try and get them as low as possible, and then I use Zhongli's meteor to stun them, and then that kind of gets me... Oh my god, don't kill me! Oh my god. It gets them kind of, gives me enough of a window to actually kill them at, like, a relatively close time frame. So I'll try it now. So now we need to, yes, that wasn't actually very close, was it? Yeah, it's imprecise science, also. That's another issue. Can you get the fuck over here and stop flexing over there? Like, fuck these guys, seriously. These guys legitimately enrage me. There, you're dead. You're both dead. Fuck you. Fuck you guys. Hate these guys. If I see me unduly angry, I am. I'm very angry. These guys make me really mad. Have a fucking Ventiel. Gotta get that off quick, otherwise they throw little knives around that stun you, so you can't do that. Okay, that was nice and clean, that was nice and quick, but the annoying part for this part is everything on this floor is annoying. Gathering these two idiots. There, get stuck together. Oh, welcome to die. Enjoy that, I made it for you. You're still not dead, are you? Yes, you also had to be tanky for some reason. Sure, go hang out with your friend. All you can hang out together. Eventually you shot them the wrong direction, you piece of shit. This is legitimately giving me the rage. Are you not fucking dead, other person? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. No, 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 no. Okay, you're dead. You're dead. You're dead. You're about to be dead. I've got 9 seconds. There. Whew, 3 stars. Fuck this floor. Oh! If I seem unduly enraged by this, this floor sucks. This chamber sucks. Hey folks, it's daytime. Also different outfit, because I was getting super annoyed at 12-2. So I took a break, and I came back in the morning to finish it out. A couple of things to note, in case some people are like, wait, the continuity is wrong. You don't actually have to 3-star each floor in one continuous run to get the full reward. So this run you're going to see for 12-2 is not going to be, it's going to be 2-star. But I did 3-star it on stream, which I'll add that to the end of the video, or I'll add it after this so you can see what that looks like when it's done a little bit quicker. But yeah, I'd already 3-starred it, so I just wanted to set up for 12-3 as cleanly as possible. That's totally a thing you can do. Like, if you want to go through it multiple times, just stage for the next floor. So that's what's going to go on here, but you'll see what it looks like with this team. Now, if you're wondering where Klee went, again, since not one continuous run, let me pause a second. I switched Klee out for Deluxe. I'm just better at playing Deluxe than I am Klee. I'm pretty, like, Klee's fine, Klee's quite good, and Klee's defense reduction is actually quite helpful, but I'm just a better Deluxe player than I am a Klee player, and I was just more confident with Deluxe here, so that's why I swapped them. And then I took the elemental skill here because Tartaglia does a shit ton of elemental skill damage, which is primary damage, because his entire melee mode is his daggers, like his daggers mode. That is all governed by skill. So increasing skill here will increase his skill damage, which will increase his total damage. And you'll see he'll completely beast mode this floor. I'll talk about what I'm running in a second, well, at the end. But my Tartaglia is C6 also, so it works great. So I always start with Zhongli to get the shield up, because that gives you resistance reduction. And then Bennett for the AoE, and the attack boost and heal and all that stuff. And Tartaglia just dunk those two, because Tartaglia beast modes everything. Like, Tartaglia is quite a powerful DPS. And if you get him to C6, which is quite an investment, he does fine as main, like he does great as main DPS, because the main downside of him is you have to rotate him out. But you really don't at C6. I did a video on it. This part is a bit, this front half not that bad, to be perfectly honest. That thing will probably one or two shot a lot of characters if you let the big attack hit you, but it's fairly easy to see coming. And again, I'm trying to set up cleanly for the next floor, so I'm not going to try and rush this too much, which is why I'm not dropping the meteor or anything, saving it for the next floor. And yeah, we're just going to brawl Tartaglia, because Tartaglia can easily beast mode this guy. Save everything, and then this part, let me pause a second. This fight is indicative of a lot of the recent encounters they've done, and it has a lot of mechanics that I really hate and hope they stop trending towards. But the main thing that's really annoying is a lot of their bosses have these fucking invulnerability phases now. And in particular, this one's egregious, because remember, Abyss is timed. And this isn't even like a mechanic, like they don't want you to skip the phase. It's just a fucking animation, like an RP animation, that eats up a whole bunch of time. So here, oh, you'll see what I mean. So this is Magu Kenki. He's a world boss, if you haven't seen him. And he fucking stands up. That takes like 6 to 8 seconds, during which your timer's ticking down. That you cannot damage him. Why? In a timed event, why? Like, I think when I was doing this, and again, I'm recording after the fact, I literally screamed, could you stand up the fuck faster? Like, I literally screamed out of my monitor. Because, like, it's just so aggravating to lose, like a good 6 to 8 seconds of him standing the fuck up. But yeah, this isn't going to be a fast run because I only got 3 stars here, but if you do want to do it fast, and I'll show you the live, I'll clip in my footage from the clear, from the stream. You want to get him against the back wall, at least with, if you're running Ayaka, because, one, he's just easier to deal with if he's against the back wall, he's more predictable, but also, like, it puts him, it's really easy to position him for Venti's burst and for Ayaka's burst against the back wall, so that's what we're doing here. And this is not going to be a fast one, but I'll show you a fast one in a second. There's plenty of videos of people doing him without getting hits, so, like, honestly, if I were less frustrated at this point, I'd probably pay more attention and not take all the hits I'm getting hit with. But, like, at this point, it's like, I'm just so annoyed, I just want to dunk him and move on. And his hits do hit pretty hard, you have to be a little bit careful. But again, since we're taking our time, I want to set up somewhat cleanly if possible for next floor. I think I actually ended up in kind of rough shape by the end of this. I am legitimately curious. Like, I've been complaining a bit about floor 12, to be honest. But I feel like I have less room to complain because I have a lot of stuff, right? I've got a bunch of characters with a lot of constellations, you know, a lot of C6s, a whole bunch of 5-star C6s, really good gear on everybody, everything's max level. The characters aren't max level, but they're, like, I'm pretty well spec'd out, right? I'm very curious how this has been going for people that aren't as well equipped, like people that are newer. Because man, legitimately, floor 12 was starting to annoy the hell. It was starting to tilt me a little bit, and I don't tilt that easily. So like, I'm very curious how this is going for people that aren't as well equipped. Granted, I'm also coming back to Genshin after a break and trying to just brute force everything, and it really feels like they don't want you to brute force a lot of these fights now, which is, I guess, fine. It's just kind of a shift. So like, maybe my approach leaves a bit to be desired, but you know, we get there. So yeah, not a fast clear. I'll add after 12-3. I'll add the second part. Okay, 12-3. 12-3 was pretty simple. We're gonna take crit rate for damage because, of course, though this is the final chamber, so I could take a different one I wanted. These things are not that. I mean, you see, this is not. This guy's new. You do want to be relatively quick with him though, because there's 3 of those like those the ruined sentinels. Is that their name? Cannot remember their name, but there's 3 more. So you want to not spend too much time here. I didn't try it. If I recall correctly, you can shoot this thing in the eye to stun him. I didn't try that though, so that might be a better way to handle this guy. But we're just gonna brute force. Yeah. Now, these 3 are very kind. They clump up. They spawn clumped up. That's very nice. The ones on the next floor do not. And that's very aggravating. As far as I can tell, you can't actually push these guys around either. Like, not with NTL, not with Deluxe, not with really... I assume Kazuha and Sucrose and Jean and all the characters that use to push characters around, I assume you can't push with them either. That's annoying. That's annoying. Oh, I didn't mention it, but those samurai on 12-1, they're immune to freeze. Did I mention that? There's a lot of shit that's immune to shit too, which is also a little bit aggravating. And what's not immune to freeze? This guy. Rune guards, at this point, old hat. You probably know how to face him. Actually, didn't position quite right there, so one of Ayaka's orbs flew off past him, but it's fine. So these ones are annoying, because they do not have the courtesy of spawning right next to each other, and they have ranged attacks, so they are kind of actually a pain in the ass position. So, I managed to finagle them to get close together, if I remember correctly, but if you can't get them positioned against each other, you're going to add a lot of time to this clear. Because, like, yeah, this guy is content to sit back and shoot at me. Fortunately, I think they do pump up in that, relatively speaking. And I've got 3 minutes, so we've got about 45 more seconds, but now they're all clumped up, they're all sitting, I like to say, they're doomed. Just throw them on a attack in there to freeze them, get more damage from Blue Destroyer, and, like, we're basically good. So, that is... Abyss, that's the new Inazuma Abyss. Let me get that clip from the stream, and then I'll talk to you on the other side. That theory. Because if I just do my standard setup for Ayaka with like Venti and Mona, that thing should like melt. Oh, good. Tartaglia. Get off cooldown, please. Okay. Does the parry only blocks attacks? Is it not actually like a I guess a riposte? Because if that's the case, then I could just jump in here and do something like this? Maybe that's the play. God, this guy's annoying. think the other thing that's super let's get out of range. That's super aggravating me is not being able to consistently build my meter. Oh, thank the Lord. Okay, so that was 3 stars. So yeah, that's what 12-2 looks like, done a bit quicker. Well, 3 stars quicker and a bit cleaner. It's interesting that went better because Mona was wearing a bunch of +0 artifacts, a bunch of +0 random artifacts. You notice her health was like 10k HP, that's why. So she was primarily just there to enable freeze and to like distract the boss a little bit. And to dodge, I guess, because Mona and Ayaka, one benefit of their dodge is it's a lot easier to spam it. Like it's very easy to spam it. Whereas like, any other character, like there's kind of like a wind up to their dodge. It's a little bit harder to like spam a regular dodge, but like Mona and Ayaka can dodge all day long. Clack 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 clack. So yeah, that's actually quite helpful, especially if you don't quite know the timing of some of these attacks. Because like I said, kind of just getting back to Genshin, crash course and everything, so the ability to spam a dodge, not worry too much about timing is helpful. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that was particularly like elegant execution, but we got there. that's what matters, through sheer brute force. But yeah, as you can see, Sticky wants up apparently. We've got all the rewards, all the moons, etc. 3 stars and everything, so there you go. Okay, right to left, real quick. We're going to talk about what everyone's wearing, because I'm sure folks want to know. I did swap around some gear, but this should mostly still be accurate. Bennett's running for Please No Blessed Oblige. This makes a lot of sense for him. Elemental burst damage is not that big a deal on Bennett, but the fact that it gives everybody attack on using Elemental Burst, 20%, really aligns with what you use him for, which is to give everybody attack, because on his ult, the character standing in it has 70% or more attack, health, they gain attack based on Bennett's base attack. So in that regard as well, he's running an attack goblet, which might normally be a little bit weird, but you want him to have as much attack as possible to really pass it on to the rest of the team. And his weapon is a Skyward Blade. It doesn't have attack here, which, you know, you could make that choice as well. But I kind of like Skyward Blade here because the energy recharge does help him charge faster, which is pretty nice. And really, like, the main reason you use Bennett is, like, to swap him in, drop his ult on the ground, which will heal people and buff their attack. That's all Bennett's going to do. So, like, the energy recharge is very helpful to facilitate that. Like, everything else about this weapon, everything else about the rest of his kit, honestly doesn't matter, and that is enough to make Bennett basically double S tier. Like, basically a staple of most, like, really endgame team comps, just because that ult is just that powerful and doesn't require a lot of maintenance or on-the-field time. Zhang Li, running 4-piece Archaic Petra. This stuff's only +16. Oh, on Bennett, the pieces. The hat's +12, and the feathers +16, everything else is +20. I need to finish leveling some of this gear. Zhang Li, running 4-piece Archaic Petra, everything's +16. This is a great set for him as well, because it can make the little crystallized shards give everyone bonus damage, plus increases geo damage bonus, and dropping giant rocks on people is geo damage, so all that lines up. He's not +20 because when I initially got him, I was just checking like if I liked him, and at the time he was really underwhelming before his buffs. So everything's +16. And since he got buffed, and now he's also double S tier, I do need to actually go +20 all this stuff. But that's on the agenda of stuff to do. Then his weapon, much like Bennett, is Skyward Spine for energy recharge, because I want to spam meteors. He's not gonna sit on the field. I'm trying to remember back, did I actually ever hit anything with his spear? I don't think I really hit much stuff with his spear. I just mostly jumped in and dropped meteors. Unlike Bennett, his elemental skill is actually quite helpful as well. But honestly, the main reason I use this is for energy recharge. The rest of this, not that impactful. Who else did I run? Alright, running Diluc. As far as the artifacts go, his artifacts are pretty interchangeable with Lee, so assume that Lee was running pretty much the exact same artifacts. Also, assume that, I'm not going to dive in, I'm not going to click through all of them, but assume that the main stat on these are all correct, so HP for Flower, attack for the Feather, attack for Hourglass, the elemental damage bonus that's appropriate for the character on the Goblet, and then crit rate or damage on the hat. Some characters like Bennett are an exception where I ran the attack goblet instead, but for the most part, I expect them to be the right stat for that character. I'm not going to go into a deep dive with 8 characters as to what stats are good for them. Oh, and I should talk about constellations also. Bennett is constellation, not that. Bennett is constellation 6. Zhongli is constellation 0. I do want to get more constellations on Zhongli, but I just missed his banner, so you know, we'll cross that bridge in like 5 months. Whenever he comes back around. I think the main one I would want to get him from might be Constellation 2, actually. Just make his meteor also shield. That would just be a quality of life thing. The duration on Petrify might be nice. This one's the one that people talk about. It essentially makes his shield heal a bit, but that's a pretty big investment just for that effect. So maybe he's actually fine at Constellation. I mean, he is fine at Constellation 0, obviously. Still a really good character, Constellation 0. But yeah, I'll think more about what it's a moot point until his banner comes back. So Diluc is Constellation 4. And then his artifacts, 5-piece Crimson Witch of Flames. Obviously the best set for Diluc. You have to use the elemental skill 3 times in order to max stack this. His elemental skill, you can use it 3 times. It's that 3-hit combo. That lines up perfectly. Pyro damage, he does a ton of it. These reactions are also very strong with Diluc. It's fine. Like, this is the best set for Diluc. His weapon is Wolf's Gravestone, attack and then more attack, and then more attack, and then on hit gives the whole party attack. Just attack, 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 attack. That's Diluc. And works great in that role. Klee, for reference, when I was using her at Constellation 6. What's an important breakpoint? Probably just 2. That's a defense decrease. That's why I was using her initially, but switched to Diluc just because I'm a better Diluc player than I am a Klee player. Klee requires a very specific playstyle that's just not really how I typically play because of by her nature of being a Catalyst user. I want to practice a little bit more Klee because Klee is quite good, but right now I'm just more comfortable with Diluc. And honestly, the fight was aggravating enough that I wanted to streamline things and make them comfortable. That's not usually a priority. For that fight, it was. Artifacts. For Tartaglia, he is using Heart of Depth, the Hydro set, because of course he is. It's his best set. Everything's plus 20. This might potentially be the best. I'll call this one out. Why is he using a main beloved piece? Because this is an amazing roll. It's Hydro damage bonus. It's good amount of attack. A lot of crit damage. The only one point that went wrong is 1 point of the potential bonuses went to defense. This is almost a perfect roll for a goblet. And it doesn't, like, you only need a 4-piece bonus, not 5-piece bonus, so it's fine that this is not the right set. This is a very, very good goblet. Tartaglia's Constellations, as I mentioned, I think, during the video, is 6, because Havoc Annihilation lets you reset the cooldown on his melee stance when you use his Elemental Burst. That is broken, because he does a tremendous amount of damage while in melee. Stance. But the limiter is you can't always be in melee stance because he has a huge cooldown going in melee stance. But when you get this constellation, suddenly that limit that makes him balanced no longer exists. So that's when I talk about constellation 6s that matter, this is the high water mark. Like any constellation like this, it's like, okay, that's a whale character because you want to. That's definitely a whale character, a whale-oriented character because you want a Constellation 6 something at maximum benefit. And I will also point out Tartaglia's Constellation is the fucking whale, so maybe that's actually the point. But yeah, that's Tartaglia's artifacts. His weapon is a Skyward Harp, Refinement 1, 90 out of 90. This is, I would say, his best weapon as well because it's crit rate plus crit damage. The AoE portion, he'll trigger it quite often, but that's not that big a deal. So yeah, that's Tartaglia. So moving on from Tartaglia, let's talk about Venti. Venti is also Constellation 6, and actually this is a great chance to make a point. So if Tartaglia is the high water mark for a Constellation 6, in that Tartaglia's Constellation 6 fundamentally changes how he plays and dramatically increases his value as a character. Like he goes from being pretty good to amazing at Constellation 6. Example of a character that really doesn't benefit from Constellation 6 is Klee, because Klee's Constellation 6, like placing light is not that big a deal. While under effects of Sparks and Splash, she regenerates 3 energy to all party members, excluding herself for like every 3 seconds. Like I feel like they didn't even need to exclude Klee on this. This is just not that beneficial. It's not a lot of energy. Like I think Sparks and Splash lasts like what 10 seconds. You're getting 3 energy every 3 seconds for 10 seconds total. That's not that noticeable. And then when Sparks and Splash, and also you're incentivized to swap her out early because of Sparkly Explosion, which you have if she's C6, because you'll trigger a big nuke when she swaps out. So like, yeah, it's just that's honestly her Constellation 6 kind of conflicts with some of her other constellations as well. So like, it's just not very impressive in that regard. The second part's actually probably more beneficial. All party members gain 10% pyro damage bonus for 25 seconds. Granted, that's really only going to benefit Klee, because Klee's not really typically run as a support, and if you want to run a pyro support, Bennett's probably better in that specific role. So you're only really benefiting Klee there. So it's okay. Like, her Constellation 6 is okay. It benefits her a little bit, but not in any super substantial way. So Klee is kind of as far as Constellation 6 goes. Tartaglia is amazing. Venti's in the middle, which is why I wanted to make this point since they're all lined up right now. Venti, Stormward Defiance. Stormward Defiance targets who take damage from Wind Surrender Ode, which is Venti's ultimate, is Elemental Burst, have their animal resistance decreased by 20%, so Venti will do more damage, and other animal characters. But if an elemental absorption occurs, their resistance will also be their resistance towards the corresponding element will also be decreased by 20%. So potentially it'll make it so Venti's ult can debuff any element, the resistance of any element, to benefit the team. Add into this, you're running Viridescent Venerer if you know what you're doing on Venti. This increases animal damage bonus, but also increases squirrel damage, but also decreases elemental resistance to an element that's infused in a squirrel by 40% for 10 seconds. Essentially giving you more of the constellation effect. These all tie together to give a very cohesive picture of how Venti's meant to play. Like, Constellation 6 on Venti is more of the stuff he already does, and makes him better at the stuff he already does. Does it change how he plays? No. Does it, like, dramatically increase his effectiveness? No. But does it make him better at the things he does and that you will be doing for him? Yeah, it does. And that's kind of like the middle ground for a Constellation 6. So we went on a big detour there. Venti's set, as I talked about, is Viridescent Venerer. And his weapon is Stringless for Elemental Mastery, and then Elemental Skill and Elemental Burst damage. Because Venti does do a considerable amount of elemental damage. I think people focus on support elements of his kit. The fact that he can control and position enemies and also, like, basically disable them for lengthy periods. And reduce resistance and further facilitate damage for all other characters. He also himself does quite a lot of damage. Like his elemental skill with constellations especially, and his elemental burst on their own do a considerable amount of damage. So yeah, Stringless is pretty good on him. Let's see. Mona. Mona's running the Widsith. If you were running Mona as DPS, it's probably better to run something like... Oh, please running Lost Prayer to Sacred Winds. I forgot to mention that. It's probably run something like this, better to run something like this on her, but this does require to be on the field for longer in order to gain benefit, and the way it's playing Mona, as you saw. Really, Widsith is probably better, because Widsith will give her a buff when she swaps on. It's either attack, which is great, elemental damage, which is great, or elemental mastery. Like, all these things work. They're all fine. Like, it's like, yes, there's random, but all 3 things that you could potentially get are pretty good, and, like, they all align what you're doing for her, so, like, that's fine. Like, this thing's... Widsith's pretty good, I would say. Artifact set. Not well set up. She was running Noblesse Oblige, but I gave it to... I gave it over to Bennett. I know some people were like, what are you doing? Yeah, no, I ask myself that with Mona all the time. Her best in slot set is gonna be probably this one. Severed Fate, because it increases energy recharge and then increases elemental burst damage based on the amount of energy recharge she has, and then her innate skill. Some of our characters have innate skills. Whoops. You actually see it. You might have to take my word for it. I believe her innate skill is energy recharge. How do you fucking see her innate skill when she levels up? Wait, here, I send her. You'll see it. There you go. Her innate skill is energy recharge. So she's gonna have a shit ton of it. So that works well with that set. So right now, it's like I don't have a set for her. I'm just gonna give her more attack and more burst damage. So that's why she's running this set. This set's like this is just a mix of Gladiator and Noblesse Oblige. Gladiator is kind of like the set where if you don't know what you're doing, just shove Gladiator on. It's probably fine for a lot of characters because it gives attack. Like can't go too far wrong with Gladiator. Then Mona's Constellation 5. Constellation's a matter. Shit, I don't know, man. Constellation 6 on her seems like one of those. I mean, yeah, maybe it's kind of an interesting gimmick, but it doesn't seem that important. Constellation 4 is pretty decent, actually. No, her Constellation 4 is good. When any party member attacks an opponent affected by Omen, their crit rates increase by 15%. That's a pretty decent gain to the rest of the team. Let's see, who else? Okay, Diona. Diona's running Maiden Beloved. For the healing. I want her to eventually, I think, run Noblesse Oblige. But she pretty much exists to throw shields on people and to heal. And to help apply Cryo. And to battery for Ayaka. Because, remember, having another Cryo character will allow you to get more Cryo particles, which further boosts the other Cryo character you're running. So yeah, she's mostly here for those reasons. Really, her healing is kind of underwhelming, so having Maiden Beloved on her might make a little bit of sense because it further bolsters it. But yeah, like, she is kind of in many ways just completely replaced Chi-Chi, which, you know, I'm sorry, Chi-Chi. I mean, my Chi-Chi is Constellation 5, so, like, I say that with a heavy heart. But Chi-Chi mostly just heals. We talked about this extensively, so I won't go into too much, but Diona heals a little bit, also shields a bit, also acts as a pretty efficient battery. Like all those things together make her just more suited to the way the game's played right now than Chi-Chi. Her weapons, sacrificial bow to again, well, okay, it's a sacrificial weapons. I didn't talk about this. Energy recharge, right, to help boost. And no, the bow is not super leveled up. That like I will eventually, but the sacrificial weapons, like the main reason you use them is actually the skill. But yeah, this will help her build elemental burst more, so get her heal up faster. But the main reason you use it is when damaging an opponent with an elemental skill, the skill has an 80% chance to reset its own cooldown. That's pretty substantial because it essentially lets you get most of the time 2 uses out of skill under 1 cooldown. That's pretty nice. It can occur once every 16 seconds. So that's why she's running that. She's Constellation 6. Constellation 6, I didn't talk about them for 4 stars. Maybe I should. Her Constellation 6 is nice because it gives it's similar to it makes her a little bit similar to Bennett's in that if you're below 50% it's going to increase the amount of healing if you're standing in it. If you're above 50% you're going to gain like an offensive bonus, so in this case 200 elemental mastery. So again, her ult buffs elemental mastery, which is very nice compared to Chi-Chi's, which is really primarily just healing. Oh, I don't want to go deep dive in constellations, but since I mentioned, since I'm talking 6s for some reason, yeah, I haven't actually reread Venet's. Venti and Bennett ship is Venet, apparently. Increases sword, claymore, pyro wielding characters, pyro damage by 15% and infuses their weapons with pyro. Works fine. Like, that's another reason to run to luck with Bennett rather than Klee, but honestly, that's more nice to have than anything else. So yeah, last character to talk about is gonna be Ayaka. I did a full talk about her when I did my C6 video. You can look to that if you want to see more details. But yeah, she's running 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, because of course she is. I want to say this is probably the best set in the game. So cryo damage bonus, but if the opponent is afflicted by cryo, the crit rate against them is increased by 20%. If they're frozen, it's increased by another 20%. So 40% crit from the set bonus. That's huge. It's huge. And then cryo resonance, which I believe adds how much does cryo resonance add? I think cryo resonance adds another 15%, if I remember correctly. We're gonna check. Yeah, so 15%. So 55% crit bonus. That's pretty good. Mistflair Reforged is going to be her best weapon. Again, it's crit damage, which is really nice for a cryo character because they got crit rate covered, trust me. And then elemental damage bonus, and then more elemental damage bonus based on these conditions. You basically have to deal elemental damage with normal. You have to use an elemental burst, and you have to have less than 100% energy. All very easy things to have happen. Not going to talk too much about constellations, but for sake of completeness, we'll talk about 6, I guess. Her actual important constellations are going to be 2, because it adds 2 orbs to her alt, Kamisoto Art Sumetsu, and so Blizzard Blade Sekinoto, it adds 2 smaller Frostlake Sekinoto, which deal 20% of the original's damage. So there's 2 of them, in addition to the big one, and if you get all 3 of them to hit a target, that's 40% extra damage, which is really significant. You saw, like, on the fast clear of 12-2, you saw that completely, like, demolish the boss. That's because of this. In addition to that, Ebb and Flow is important as also. Frostlake Sekinoto will decrease defense by 30%. Remember Klee? Her thing? That's only 23%. Also, kind of a pain in the ass to apply, if I'm being honest. Basically, this, you're going to drop your elemental burst on them. That's not that complicated to apply. And it's a bigger buff. Like, so all this works well together. The defense decreases only 6 seconds, but keep in mind, it reapplies every time it ticks, and I believe Kamisoto Art Sumetsu is 5-second duration, right? Yeah, 5-second duration. So it's actually going to apply for 11 seconds total. So that's very nice. But yeah, C6, Dance of Suigetsu. Kamisoto Ayaka gains Usurahi Buto every 10 seconds, increasing her charge attack damage by 298%. This buff will be cleared 0.5 seconds after using her charge attack and hitting an opponent with it. Hell yeah, like I said, this isn't the finesse clear of Abyss, of the Inazuma Abyss. I'm sure people will be doing those videos. This is Jessica coming back Genshin after a while and just being like, can I just brute force my way through all these fights? Answer is yes, but it will piss you off, Jessica. So, yeah, like, there's gonna be inevitably cleaner runs. But, you know, I just got back in, and I had a good time clearing all this, despite being quite annoyed some of these floors. I do really hate that a lot of these bosses now have extensive invulnerability periods. Like, this Pyro Cube is significantly harder than the other cubes. The other cubes, like, they have invulnerability phases, but, like, their damage phases are pretty long. Like, the phases where you can actually hurt them. Pyro Cube has a very short damage phase and extensive invulnerability phases, and can restart his invulnerability pretty quickly. Just super obnoxious. And man, this boss, could you stand up faster, buddy? Like, do you need a hand? Can I help you up? Like, super annoying. And then, like, these guys not being able to be frozen is obnoxious. That's why we didn't run cryo on the front half. And then these guys not being able to move around by skills is also obnoxious. And it does feel like they have equipped us with, like, such powerful tools that now they are leaning into having mechanics that invalidate those tools. And that's kind of a dangerous direction. I don't like that they're doing that. But that aside, I had a good time clearing the Abyss. I always like the Abyss because it is significantly harder than the rest of Genshin. The next Abyss, when Ball, Raiden Shogun, Mei, whatever you want to call her, comes out, I believe, I've taken a peek at that, not too much spoilers if you care, but that one seems to be built specifically for her, like the way it's set up, so that'll be interesting. We'll see how that one goes. Anyways, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. If you want to catch me playing live on Twitch, I'm doing a combination of Genshin and Granblue Fantasy as far as streams and content go. I haven't abandoned Granblue Fantasy, don't you worry. I know whenever I play Genshin, people are like, oh no, Granblue. I play both. And also Fate Grand Order, because Fate Grand Order's anniversaries right now, and then Arknights, because their anniversaries right now. Everything's lining up. There's a lot of gacha games lining up right now. Actually kind of annoying. But yes, yeah, if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!